Okay, I'm back. Hi. So I've changed it to, it was trying to do 6,000. So now it's at 2,500. Come on. What are you doing? Thing is screwing up. Alright. Live chat. Come on, show me live chat. Alright. I don't want that. Fuck off. Okay, we're back. I've changed my bit rate, so I'm hoping that's a bit better for everybody. I'm still in the red, but I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Woo! And how's the stream delay now, Dark Wolf? Is it better? I hope it's better. And thanks again for hanging out. I appreciate it. So yeah, I've dropped it down to the bit rate down, so hopefully it doesn't struggle so much. So we'll see. Alright, we are nearly done with this seat. We are nearly done. Yeah, it's better? Okay. Good. Alright. The Streamlabs is still saying it's in the red, but I haven't dropped frames yet. No frame drops. It's running a bit smoother, so that's good. Sweet. Thank you for the feedback, mate. Thank you. Alright. I'm sure it's running smoother because, number one, it was trying to push out 6,000 kbs, and I'm just streaming from my phone, so that's just a no-go. Because I did plan to use this laptop to capture my PC, because my PC is starting to struggle at both duties. So I did have it set up for that. So that might be why it was at 6,000. But now, yeah, it should be running better now. Alright. Yeah, it should definitely be able to just hold at that 2,500 pretty easily now. So it shouldn't be too choppy. So there's that. Alright, we are nearly done. Nearly done with all of this. So I've pumped all of this into the seat. So I'm not going to sit on it because I'm not going to put any more in. It's sitting pretty high already. But that's going to push down a fair bit. Once I put the hessian on and I stab it, it's going to be a lot lower. This where it's sitting now is probably going to be nearly almost the finished height of the seat once I've put the hessian on and stitched it and done all that stuff. Yeah, this sort of where it's sitting now is where it will be after I've flocked it, foamed it, and covered it. So we should be able to get to that today. What time is it now? Nearly 1 o'clock. I can be live for another 2 hours, and then I've got to leave and pick up my kids. So we got 2 hours. I should be able to be live for the next 2 hours. See how far we get on this. I would assume that I will get the hessian on, stitch it, stab it, probably flock it. Yeah, it could be nearly, and then foam it. Yeah, we could nearly be at fabric stage by then, I think. We'll see how we go. We've only got this little bit left and one little bit, and they're just going to be blended into the middle of the seat. And probably a bit hard, you guys can't see the whole seat, but yeah, it's nearly there. Yeah, that's going to be nice. That's going to be nice. Alright, this is the last bit. And it's got lots of these hard bits I said that you need to take out if you're ever doing this. Got a hard skin part of the coconut fibre, which you can't rip and spread. So that's got to go. Alright, that's the last bit. Got to blend it around the seat. So I can't just clump it on top, you need to blend it all together. And now the rain's coming. 1 for you, 9 for me. What does that mean? What does that mean, Dark Wolf? What does that mean? What does that mean, Dark Wolf? What does that mean? 1 for me, 9 for you? Are you talking about the stream delay? 1 second for me, 10 seconds for you? I'm just going to grab a drink right now. Time. Oh yeah, 1 PM. Yep. Yeah, 1 PM for me right now. Alright, so we'll grab our tape measure, and I know in my head that the hessian is 72 inches wide. It's funny, I actually use inches when I'm working with my furniture. Everywhere else, I use centimeters. So I can run with inches and centimeters both ways, but my teacher taught me to use inches. It's a lot easier in upholstery to use inches because it's the math is easier to work out than trying to do. You know, I'd rather say 30 inches instead of 78 centimeters, or 76 centimeters, whatever it is. And just trying to, the mass in my head to work out half of 30 inches when you're trying to work out middles and stuff, is a lot easier with inches because it's less, obviously. 30, half of 30 is obviously easy to work out. But, if I said, what's the middle of 76 centimeters, it's a lot harder to work out. I mean, I know it straight away as well, but some people it's very difficult. I find it easier to use inches. Just because the numbers will then be smaller for you to work out in your head. But anyway, like I was saying, I know the hessian that I use is 72 inches wide. This is obviously going to be nowhere near 72 inches, so I only need to measure one way and then cut my length of hessian. So I chuck this down there. I give myself 3 inches overhang on this side. And then pull it under the seat over here. Hold that and pull it tight. So I give myself 3 inches over here. I hold that side, I pull this side, and then I use my finger to feel where my edge is over here. And that's 40 inches. So I'm going to cut my hessian 41. So I've allowed basically 2 inches both sides. So and I'll have my 72 inches of length is going to be plenty. So it's going to hang all the way down now. I'm only going to use probably half the width of it. So I do have another chair over there, so it's not going to waste. I will use it eventually. So yeah, I'm going to be right back. I will just chuck it on and be right back. I'm just going to grab some hessian. I will be right back. Hi. Alright, back. Got my hessian. Before I do anything, I'm just gonna clean the floor because there is coconut fibre all over the floor. It's very slippery. So I'm just gonna quickly just clean that up. That's like all the stuff. Also got to sweep it up too. Sort of. Okay. Alright, where's my staple gun? Here. Just gotta blow this off. Alright. Hi, welcome back. Thank you, Dark Wolf. Appreciate it. Alright, so got our hessian now. As I said, so this is 72 inches long, so and that's our 41 inches that I've cut, right? So tuck it in at the back there. And then I'm going to go off camera because I'm going in the back of this. Right, so I've just stapled it at the back. Just 3 temporary staples at the back. And now I'm just going to pull the hessian up. And this. So I'm tucking it in on the sides. I think I've settled my hessian here. If you want to measure it, you can, but I just use my eyes. I don't measure it. If I'm off, I'm usually not off by very much. If you were doing this yourself, you might want to measure to make sure you have an equal amount on both sides. But I tuck in under here. I feel where my rail is, this rail here on the inside, and then I'm cutting straight on that and tucking everything in on that side. I'll do the same over here. Cut through, tuck it all in. Okay? Alright. And you pull that down there like that. So there's our hessian seat. It's not done obviously. And now I've just got to temporary the sides off. So there's just 4 temporary staples on the side. Right. So now the front is different. You can't staple the front because this is a sprung edge. There's no timber across here. Right. So we need these pins. So now we need these pins. You can see them. Right. I don't know what they're called. Dressmaker pins, I think. I don't remember what they're called. But they work very well on these. So now I've got to feel where this is going to tuck under. This is my wire across here, where I'm feeling now. And now I'm going to cut probably, and there's my middle mark right there. So I've used over half width, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to cut just about here. Cut there. Grab a thread on my hessian and just pull that thread out, and then do the same on this side. Pull the thread, cut thread, wherever it is. Where's the cut thread? There we go. Pull the cut thread out. Pull it out through like that. I don't know if you guys can see, but that's created a line for me. Right, that's a straight line in the hessian. Now I just follow with my scissors across that line, and it's perfectly straight. With our line of hessian. Right, now this part is where it gets sort of, I might have to just tuck this down, because I'm going to be sitting down a lot now. I'm going to be sitting down a lot. If you guys can't hear me, let me know, because it's raining. It is raining. I don't know if you can hear me, or you hear the rain more. Just let me know. Alright, so now I'm going to be sitting down a lot because I'm working here now. I'm working on this. I need my pins. Alright, so all we're doing now is we're tucking all this hessian in underneath here. And this here is obviously a lot of hessian, so I'm going to cut all that off. And same with this side here. This here is a lot of hessian, a lot of excess, I should say. That's my starting point. Now I'm going to trim just a bit more with a little bit extra trim. You don't need that hessian underneath there. You hear both just fine. Yeah, it's not too loud at the moment, it's just sort of sprinkling. Alright. So this is kind of our first step of this edge, okay? We're not going to tuck at this stage, we're going to tuck a little bit. And we're really only doing a temporary tack at this stage. Alright, because we need to go through one step before we do the rest of this. Alright, and this is the first step. We're just tucking it under. It's not too pretty at the moment. I'm not too pretty. So right here where you might be able to see this, I don't know if you can see this, but this is where the edge wire is. And I'm using this to stab in, and then I'm tucking it under the wire and pulling it down under and around the wire. So it's covering the wire, but it's also tensioning this a little bit. And I'm doing it every 2 inches or so. Right. Every 2 inches or so. It's not. It's not a finished product right now. So. There's that. There's that. Alright. So that's just my temporaries. So that's just the temporaries right now. And so for the temporaries, they're just going to stay there for now. And now I'm going to do my stabbing. So I'm going to stab my seat to bring it down and hold it in place. So that's called a stab stitch. It's a running stab. Sounds very video game-like. It's a special move called the running stab. Alright, now I have to stand up for this bit. So now we're going to stab our seat. So what I think I'll do is I'm using this thread here that's attached to the wall. Need a long mattress needle. The long mattress needle. This mattress needle is 16 inches long. Alright? You need to do something like this because we need to go through the bottom here and through the top here. So you definitely need a 16-inch needle here. Anything less, like if you were to get a 12-inch needle, it wouldn't be long enough. For these things, you need 16-inch at least. So what we're going to do is we're doing our stab stitch, our running stab. Right, and I'm going to just chuck the chair up like this so you guys can see. The chair is heavy. Alright, so you guys can see this, right? So what we're going to do, I have to do it from this side, left-handed. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is, I know the edge is here, right? I sort of know that that's where the edge is. So our stab is going to be here, here. Across the front I do 4 stitches. Okay, then we're going to go to the middle, so here, then there, then there, then there, then there, and then there. And we're going to do it like this. We're going to start here. We're going to go down to there, across to here, across to there, there, back to there, there, and then down to there. Can you see that? Yes, just. Alright, Dark Wolf, catch you, mate. Thanks for hanging out, I appreciate it. I'll see you again. I'll definitely be streaming again at some point. Whether it's on here or on Twitch, don't know yet. But, thanks for hanging out, Dark Wolf. Have a good day. So now we're going to grab this, a needle. You guys won't be able to see what I'm doing on the back side, but basically I stab this in here. Give myself a lot of thread. I don't measure how much thread I use for this point because I basically stab it, feed it, and then I just cut it. But if I was to guess, I would say probably 4 meters. probably 4 meters. There's probably less, but I have no idea. Also, I really never measure this. So anyway, you put the needle in and stab it through until you go through the webbing on the back. And if you're good with your placement should put you through the middle of the springs. Because usually on a seat like this, you have 9 springs. So there's only one here, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. And this point here should go through the middle. If it doesn't, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But as you can see, I've came back through to the left or right. I'm looking at it, it's to my right. But I came back through to the right of it because of where my placement was, which was wrong. Okay? It hit a spring and then I couldn't turn my needle on the other side to come through down here where I wanted to go. It came out over here. So that's wrong. So I got to pull it back out. So that happened because my needle went through and it hit a coil, but then it went through the coil, but then on the next coil it went like that. So when I tried to pull this out and pivot it, I couldn't pivot it the right way. So we'll do it again. This time, I'm just going to feel it from this side and look at it. Alright, so that one was better. And all I did wrong on that first one was my needle went through on the wrong angle. So I needed to make sure it went through a bit straighter. And then once I did that, once I pulled it through, I was able to pivot it and put it back in the right way. So that's gone through there now. So now we can pull that out. Pull it up tight. Now we'll go down here. So the other problem that we have is the springs are also got ties through the middle of the springs when I tied the springs in. And so there's a thread going through the middle like this. So just say we've got the coil spring, which is like this. We've got a thread that's going through like this and a thread going through like that. So inside the coil, not only do we have to get in the coil, but we also have to get in one of these pockets here, which is not hard to do, but if you don't go in the right pocket, then you can't twist and turn your needle the right way that you need to turn. So just be mindful of that. And if you can't do it, if you can't come out the right way, it's not a big deal. But as I said, I've been trained to be perfect with these things. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be. So this one, instead of going in here, I'm going to go in slightly closer to the edge here, and then come out there. now we've come out there. Now we go up to here. And we go in there and then that way. Okay. This time we're going to go on each side of this cross, so just there. Now this time we're going to go in here and come out just on top of that other thread. Alright, now we go up to here. I am going to go in here and then across this way. Alright, so that one I was too close to the gutter. So I went through the gutter too much and I couldn't get through. I couldn't pivot my needle at all. And then that time I was too close to the spring and I couldn't turn my, I couldn't, once I pulled that out, I couldn't move it at all. So that spot I was just having so much trouble with getting anywhere, so I had to go down a little bit. So even though I drew these lines, they're basically just a guide, and they're basically just a guide. And when I tried to go up there, I was too high compared to my gutter. So I have to come down a little bit. So sometimes you just have to work with what you've got. Like that one there, you know, I've allowed this space here, but I went in there, when I went in there, I was right next to the spring coil, so I couldn't move the angle of this too much on the other side. I need more rope. Right, so that's it. That is that done. Right, so now I'm just going to pull this up and tighten it. So we start off with a slip knot. And I'm sorry you can't see this, but we start off with a slip knot. and then I'm pulling this up and bashing it down with my hand. So now I'm bashing the tip down to flatten the seed out, or to tighten the seed up. Alright, so pull that seat down. Now I'm just going to cut off maybe, leave about 6 inches and tie it off the thread to itself. And then cut off the end. Alright, so that's basically it there. It's pulled in, we've got a seat part, and now we've got this edge part here. Alright, so now that we've got this edge, okay, now we need our regulator here. Here's our regulator needle. This is our regulator needle, right here. I'd say this one is an 8-inch. No, it's 10-inch. So this is a 10-inch needle. This is a 10-inch regulator needle. It has a flat surface here, and obviously a needle point here. And we use this to manipulate our coconut fibre to where we want it. Alright, and I'm going to manipulate this so it's not so lumpy, and I want it to change the shape of it a little bit. So I want it to become, instead of being like this, how it is now, I basically want this to be straight up like this, and I want it to sort of come into a point, which you can't see. Right? So basically I want the edge to be like this, and then I want the other edge, instead of it's not being a right angle, I need it to be sort of like that. So from where the edge roll is, I want it to come up and point out, sort of like a V, I guess you'd say. I don't know what shape that is, but basically sort of like if it was two sides of a triangle, basically. So I want to take it from the bottom and make, because I'm basically making a roll right here, which is called an edge roll. And what I'm doing will come together later, but for now, just know this has got to be an edge roll, and I'm just creating that edge using this. I am manipulating this to come forward because I want the concentration of it to be harder. The edge needs to be hard. The edge roll is a foundation, and it's got to stay at the front. This here doesn't matter. I have plenty of coconut fibre in here. to pull to the front here. So I'm using my hand here to feel how much coconut fibre is in the area that I'm feeling. And then you can feel, by just going along, you can feel which part needs more, which part has too much. But you need to have that baseline of knowing how much is too much or how much is enough. But you definitely be able to feel differences between the rest of it. And wherever you can feel a difference, it's either going to be more or less, right? So what we're trying to do with this is even that out. Whether it's more, like, if it's more, you move more to the part that has less, or you don't never move less, you're always moving from the high sides to the low sides. Right, and it might seem like I'm just randomly just stuffing it in. I am at the moment, because all I'm trying to do at the moment is pull all this forward to create that edge that I'm trying to create. So I'm trying to pull all this forward into here, not down here. So I want this to be here, not all the way down here where the wire is. Because what I'm trying to create is a roll that's sort of like a lip edge. So then when I take stuff from here and pull it to here, then this part here gets a nice gap. So you need to pull it from back here to fill that again, right? Because we want this to feel, this is where your legs sit. Like this part here is where your legs sit. You can feel that area with your legs when you sit on it. If it's just the same as sort of like, this sort of area here is important, and then the butt area is obviously important. And there's just sort of this like little grey area between there and the butt area, which is sort of here, right? Where it doesn't really matter how it feels. You can have all the holes in the world there. It won't matter. As long as this front, say, 5 to 6 inches is smooth and perfect, and then that bit doesn't matter, and then of course this doesn't matter either, but we've already done that. That's set right there. Alright, but if there's like a good 2 or 3 inches across here, where it doesn't matter. Again, all I'm trying to do is I'm still trying to get it forward, but there's not enough in that front area. On this half of it, because I'm right-handed, this side is good, this side is not so good, because I can't do this over here. So I have to use my lefty on this side. And I would think that I'm good with both hands, but the left side is, I'm just not as clean with my left side, so I have to move a bit slower, a bit more controlled with my left hand. Over my right hand, because I could probably do, I could do that really quickly with my right hand, but with my left hand, not so much. Even though I've done this 100,000 times with my left hand, it's probably done more because I can move quickly because I'm right-handed. So I can feel right here that I've taken too much from there, which I have. So I'm going to take from here and pull it back into that area. Again, I'm having trouble with my right hand because my needle keeps hitting this. So I'm trying to move stuff from here to there, but even if I do it with my left hand, I'll try like this. So I'm feeling it with my hand all the way through here and all the way through here. All the way. That's starting to feel good. Right. So now it's starting to feel like a roll. So now what we do is I can untake all this out. Right? It's not going to go far if you, it just pops up just a little bit. So we need to make this tighter. So now that I've created that roll, now I'm pulling it down. And pulling the hessian down. Alright, now I'm going to go probably 3/4 of an inch apart, 3/4 of an inch apart with all my needles in there. No more than an inch. And what you should be doing is working both ways. Start in the middle, one comes the other way, one comes this way. You can do two this side. And sitting eye level with this makes a big difference. And I say that my tip is to sit eye level. If you sit eye level with it, you can keep the level a lot easier than if you're on top of it or below it. So if you can keep yourself eye level, this makes this so much easier. Because it's easier to see imperfections, right? The other advantage also to cutting our hessian straight is, and then laying it on here straight, is now I have these lines that I can follow with my eyes, that I can see if I'm straight or if I'm deviating either way. So I know if I pull it down, and I pull it down to the tension I believe is the same as this, and it dips, I know that either I don't have enough filling in that area, or I've pulled it too tight. So they're the two things I need to check myself on if I see a deviation in this. And I can start to see it here, probably in the next two needles. I can feel this is there's not enough in this area right here. So I need to bring more over here. I'm just going to go to this side for now. This side feels good. Alright, this side feels good. I need more in here. Okay? And I reckon I'm going to have to put more in there. I need more coconut fibre. Yep, so I need more coconut fibre in here, which I don't have on me. So I'm just going to go grab some coconut fibre, and I will be right back. I'll be right back. tight. Right, back. I'm back, and I've got more coconut fibre. Right, so I've got a bag of coconut fibre here. It's my spare stuff. I don't need a lot, not that much, because I'm just going to fill out this corner. And it's going to be the same over there. I'm going to have to untuck it, just like I have here. I think I have way too much hessian in there, so I'm just going to cut a little bit out. Right. So again, we've got just a little handful again, and we're just going to fill in that corner. So I'm going to fill in this corner. After we put a bit in, grab your regulator and create that edge roll that we were talking about. Alright. Stab it in there and pull it up. Because I do want the hessian high, I do want the coconut fibre high above the edge roll, not so much underneath or right down in the bottom inch, but then the top 2 inches I really do want a lot. And I really want it to be compact. So that's what we're trying to fill here, just like trying to create a corner here. Alright, now that I've done that, you go ahead and needle it out. In this part of it, like this last bit, you don't want to be an inch apart or 3/4 on edge. You really want to compact and hold it here, because it will move around a lot, the corner. So you probably want an extra, maybe 1 every 1/4 inch in the corner. Because you really want to hold it tight and not have any loose bits. So I've probably got 4 in the last 2 inches there. So I'm probably actually not 1/4 inch, maybe about 1/2 inch. So about a 1/2 inch there. Alright, I want all that to be full. I don't want to be empty in this part just here. You want that to be full out. And that's there. Alright. Now I can feel that I've pulled from there, so I need to come back and fill that void that I just created there. Alright. Yeah, that feels smooth, that feels really good. So this side I've got the same problem, where it's just a bit empty because it was all there, but now I've compacted it up. So really all I'm doing is filling underneath, because when I pull it down it drops too much. Alright, there's too much pressure here, so I'm just cutting it out. And now I feel like I've got enough coconut fibre in there to continue with this needle, putting the needle in and tempering it in place. Now I say temporary, but basically this is just holding there until I stitch it. So this is actually finished, but it's temporary holding it until I stitch it. Alright, that's it. That's done. This is looking a bit weird, so I'm just going to take some from here to there. It's all up in there, but I will give it another regulate. So as I said, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to grab it from here and put it into here to create this roll. Okay, I want it here. This is where I want it. I want all of that there. That's where I want the coconut fibre to be concentrated. And you'll see why very soon. Okay, so now that I've been coming in here and doing this, I've created this line across here that is a dip. So, got to go back an extra couple of inches and move that forward. Alright, so now that I've filled that gap that I've just created, now I fill here just to check if because I've taken from here to there. Well, first of all, I took from here to here. Then I've taken from here to go to here. So now I fill here, and that feels alright. I think I've blended it enough through there that we're done. Okay. Alright, next step. Alright, we are up to the stitching. We're going to hand stitch this on. We're using a curved needle here. Curved needle. This needle I think is a 6-inch needle. No, this needle is a 4 1/4 needle. This needle that's a 4 1/2. Do I have any bigger ones? I thought I did. That's a 4 1/2. That's 4 1/2. But I think the length of it is 6 inches. Note the length is 7 inches. So this is a 7-inch curved needle. But from this point to this point is 4 1/2 inches. So that's how big the needle is. And you need one this big. This is how you need one this big to do this. You can use a straight needle. You can use a straight needle, but I've been taught on curved needles, and I've tried both ways. I believe this way comes out better because you grab, instead of having, like, if I put that needle in there, if this was the right needle, it's not the right needle. If I had that needle and I put it through there, right, it's going through in a straight line. Okay, wherever that goes in, it's going in a straight line. Wherever I put this in, so just say I put that in there, and then I put this in here, this goes in and under and up. So it comes back further this way. It doesn't go so far back, but it also grabs a lot more of that and brings it all forward. And that's what you want in this edge. You want that edge to be rock hard. You want that edge roll to be super full. The other things you need for this part is using a glove to protect your hand from the thread is, I think, needed. But if you're doing this for hours, you definitely want a glove. If you're not, then you might be able to get away with it, but it does hurt because the thread really grabs you and wraps around your hand, and it does hurt. Okay, so what we're doing now is we are stitching the hessian to the edge, to the wire. Okay, and because we've tempered this hessian over the wire, basically all we got to do is we've got to catch this hessian, come in, come back out, and tie it off. And this is what we call a running stitch as well. So this is a running stitch. You're going to start in the middle, and you always, if you're right-handed, you start on the right, on the left side, and work your way from left to right. If you're left-handed, you work the other way. It's just a lot easier. Because the running stitch also won't lock if you do it the other way. It just doesn't lock. So we go in, come out. This part is very important. You go in the same hole that the needle came out. Push that needle in and then work it until it comes back out and catches the hessian next to another of the pins. Right? Then we pull it through. This is not a length. I suggest with your length is measure this distance and then times it by 3. And then add a little bit more, maybe 3.5. 3.5. And then that should be plenty. You will have some left over. Alright. So first step, get that in, back out. Don't catch the hessian on top. You want to go back in the same hole where it came out. You don't want to catch the hessian. We only want the coconut fibre. Now we do a slip knot. And then wrap it around your hand twice. That gives you good grip. And pull it tight. Take out those two. They're not in the way. They're done. Alright. Now we want to go an inch to our right, go back in, same hole, come back out. But when we come back out, we want to go back to our left and somewhere in the middle of where your other stitch ended. So where our slip knot is at the moment, you want to come in somewhere in the middle. Then we grab our left thread and our right side. We go left, over, right, over. So under it, basically under and over actually. So under it, back over. Under it, back over. Then we pull this through. Okay, we've got all this thread to pull through. And when we get there, wrap it on our hand twice, pull down, and then straight across to lock it. That locks that stitch. That stitch is locked. Then we can pull out probably the next two. Alright, now we go in another inch. I'm going in where my other needle is. Back out, and this we're going straight up. Okay, we're not going that way or that way with our needle. We're going straight in and up. And then this one, when it goes back, has to go in and then slightly backwards to our left. So this is going in and backwards to our left. Make sure you catch that hessian. If you don't catch the hessian, it's not going to tie it down. So make sure you get it. And again, grab our left and our right side, under and over, pull this through. And wrap it on your hand twice, down and across the lock. Okay? I try to keep maybe a third of the whole thread in this part of the thing, just because then it becomes a bit easier to manage and doesn't tangle up so much. Yeah, so again, we move over about inch and a half. Same hole back in, slightly back, under, over, pull it through, wrap, pull, pull. Right, so now with my hand here, I am trying to create the shape that I've been trying to tell you that I want to create, which is, as I said, a sort of like that. So this is the top of this. This is where the, and then just say halfway down where my fingers are, where these knuckles are, is where the spring edge is, the wire. Okay? It's not like this, it's like this. And that's what we're creating. Okay? Take the needle out, move over an inch, inch and a half. I'm moving over about an inch and a half on this. Same hole. Make sure you're coming under the wire. That is also important. If this comes through and it's not under the wire, we're not catching the wire, which means all we're doing is pulling the hessian up into itself, basically. There's no support there. Alright, under, over again. I don't think I need to say that again. I've said it 5 times. So now I'm just going to shut up and I'm just going to do this to get it done. I just snapped the thread. Alright, pulled it too hard. I haven't done that in a long while. If you do snap the thread, which is fine, just pull it back out. So there's the part that snapped. And then what we need to do, yeah, I haven't snapped a thread for a long while. Usually I caught it on stream. Alright, so I need to, this is tight, this is here, so I need to create a gap. I can pull that through, and then just do a locking lock stitch, a couple of lock stitches on it. So there's a couple of lock stitches, that's fine. It's still not going anywhere. This end, I've already cut that off, that's fine. So we just start again, basically, which is fine. So I got a bit strong with my pull there, which is doesn't happen too often. Alright, that's the first time it's happened in a long while. I can't remember the last time I snapped a thread. So anyway, we'll start again. Because that's no different to ending with a short thread if you don't have enough thread. So we just start off with another slip knot, which is fine. And then we just continue on our merry way. So I don't think I was strong enough to snap the thread with just my strength. It probably caught a sharp edge of maybe the spring under there or something. Because it's not normal for me to snap a thread. I mean, if I tried to snap this thread, I probably couldn't. If I just grabbed it and I went like that, I wouldn't be able to snap it. So it would hurt my hands before I would snap it, I reckon, if I just tried to just do that and snap it. It won't snap. So it probably just rubbed on like a sharp part, like a little burr on one of the springs or something. If I was to do it again, I might say it's thread, but I've had this thread a while. It's not a new thread. And I've used this thread a lot of times. So it's not normal for it to snap. I would go as far enough as to say that that's the first time I've snapped this thread that I'm using here at home. Yeah, obviously. Nearly at the end here. As we get to the end, the stitches become a bit closer together, just so you can plan it out, so you have that last 1 inch bite at the end. Because you don't want to be biting too small, because then you can't get the middle again. Can't come out in the middle. If you're tighter together with your stitches, it's harder to hit that middle of it. So then you can do the tie. Alright, so that's the last stitch for that. Alright, that's that. Now to finish that off, we'll cut about 6 inches, and then we'll just do a stitch at the end, a little knot. All we're doing is knotting on itself. You got to do it at least 2 or 3 times, depending on the thickness of your thread. So make sure that will make sure the thread doesn't pull back through the knot. The knot ever comes loose. Alright, I probably should have enough here. But first, after we've done that, that's our edge now, right? That's our edge there. So now the next part to do is we need to get our regulator again. And now that we've come out here, now there's this huge gaping gap here that we've created because we come out, we come in, and we pull this down here and forward. So now there's this void here in the hessian that I can fill. So we have to just regulate some of this back into this to level that out. Because again, we want this top of the seat to be smooth. So that's only a minute. I heard something outside. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. So it just sounded like an explosion or something outside, but it was basically just like a truck that just pulled up with its you know, like the exhaust brake sound that just like releases that noise. That's what I just heard. So, as I say, it sounded like something exploded, like a. Well, kind of, yeah, like my just a larger scale of this noise, basically. There's basically that, but a lot louder. I don't know if you heard it or not. Anyway, now that we've stitched our hessian on, we've manipulated the edge again. That's all even and smooth now, especially the top here. We filled that gap that we just lost. Now that only took like a minute for me to just do that. I mean, you could fill that void with your flock, but I think getting in the habit of you know, keeping the hessian as flat and smooth as possible prevents later on. I mean, yes, you can fill the gap with flock. You can smooth it out with flock, but if you've got a nice smooth flat surface and then you put your flock on, then you're feeling that with your flock and you feel, oh, that one feels a bit harder. That might be a bit harder because there's more flock there because you've put it into a dip. So then when you compress it, it feels different because there's more that you're pushing down more on a dip that you've filled. So if you can keep this flat as possible without so many dips, when you fill your flock on top after, it should feel more even. And if it doesn't feel even, it's because you haven't put enough in. But they're the misconceptions that you can feel if you don't know what you're feeling. When you're flocking and you're feeling if you've got holes in your build up, it can feel different if you filled a hole already, because then when you feel down on it, it feels different because there's more flock than, say, if you got a big hole in the middle here and you just go, oh fuck, I'll just fill that up later with flock. Well, when you press here with your hands, you'll feel, oh yeah, that feels alright. Then you feel here and it feels different, and it'll feel like you haven't got enough in there because you're pushing down here into a solid foundation here, whereas here you're pushing down into a still a solid foundation but with a hole there that has more flock in it. So then you feel that and it feels different to this part. And if you don't know what you're feeling, it can confuse new people like a lot. But you know, in your head, if you know that you've got a dip there and you filled it, and then you feel that and you go, it feels different here to here, well, that might be the reason. So then, do you know if you put enough in, or you do know, is it going to create that feeling once you upholstered it? And once you put the fabric on, you're done. So if you don't know, then it's tough. If that makes any sense to you, I don't know. Hope it does. But in my mind, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I mean. If you don't know, just hit a comment or whatever. Also, while we're talking about comments and stuff, if you do have questions or if you do want to see something in the upholstery field, if you want to see it, let me know in the comments. Also, you know, subscribe if you want to see more content. Subscribe, because if I'm gaining more subscribers, it's more likely I'll do more videos. So now we'll go on from there. I appreciate everyone's support, by the way. And I do read all the comments because I have 0 comments. So when I get one, it's like, yes, I do read all the comments because I only have one. So here we go. Now we're up to stitching our edge roll. This is the finale of this seat. Okay, this is the where you have to be spot on. So to create our edge roll, we're still using the same needle as before. But now we're actually pinching and we're stitching on the outside. So this is going to be a visible stitch. Right, this isn't a visible stitch, alright? You can only see it down here, but it's invisible on the top. This one's going to be visible top and bottom, alright? Because we're going to pinch this to create a roll. Okay? So the first place, I'm going to feel where my edge is, and I'm going to go up. I'm only using my thumb as a guide. Alright, if I've created this straight, and I use my thumb every time across the bottom here as my line, it should be straight. Alright, so I'm going to go in here as close to this edge as I can, and I'm going to stab it in nearly as far as I can. Okay? Then I'm going to come forward an inch. And I'm going to come out the same height as that. And this is a very small stitch. It might be a 1/4 inch apart where I came out here. This is the first stitch, okay? So we're going to do a slip knot here. Pull up the slip knot. Alright, that's created a massive bulge there, okay? Big bulge there. Okay, now we're going to come across, say, 3/4 of an inch. And this stitch is going to go a 1/4 inch or so in front of where the other stitch is. Okay, and then we're going to come forward probably 3/4 of an inch again. And then we're going to come through straight down in between our 2 threads. Under and over, under and over. Same process as the other one. Okay, same process. Okay, so now you can see we've sort of created a roll here. I can't tell if you can see or not. No idea. But I've created a roll here now. You've got a stitch line on the top. Okay, now we're just going to follow that. So using my thumb as a guide, about an inch away, and I'm literally coming straight up. And then over, back to my left, and then through, and then coming out on, if I was to draw a line between that thread and that thread, that's where you want to come out, on that line. And then over and under again for each thread. Wrap your hand twice, pull down, and across the lock. Okay? So there's our edge roll that we're creating, okay? So that's sort of like an edge roll there, okay? I don't know if you can see it or not. Again, over an inch, back to my left, 3/4 of an inch, through the middle, under, over, and pull, wrap your hand twice, and pull down and across. Okay? So there's my edge roll. I don't need to explain it anymore. It's the same process as this, but this time we are on top of the hessian and we're pinching the hessian. Okay, we're creating a roll. That's our roll. That's where we're at. when you get used to it like I have, I can basically just go in the first time and it'll be perfectly in line up the top here because I've done it so much. If you're just trying to learn how to do this, it's going to take you a few goes to get it straight here. I don't even have to really look up here because I can sort of just see with my eyes where the line's pinched and I know sort of where that line is. But I'm also used to just going in and back down constantly. I've done it a million times. Sometimes I don't get it right, but most times I can just stab it in and come out and know that I'm in a straight line here because I've just done it so many times. And every time I pull that, I check. I look at my hessian line. My hessian line looks straight. My threads aren't deviating. They're not up and down. They're perfectly straight in a perfect sense of threads making knots and stuff, but it's pretty straight. If I've done my filling correctly and I've done every other step correctly, this will just come out straight. And you'll probably get to the stage if you're watching this to learn how to do this. You'll notice with your roll size, if you go in the same line here, but your roll is getting smaller or bigger, that's because there's more filling or less filling in that area. So if you're finding that it's too small, just in the next few stitches, just go a bit wider. Yeah, thanks for the spam. Alright. Thanks for the spam, dude. You are timed out. Come on. Hello. Moderate. Man, I can't even moderate my own chat. Hello? Fuck. I have to sign into chat. Stupid. Anyway, you can ignore that stupid shit. Anyway, so like I was saying, if you get this and it's starting to get bigger or smaller, then you can adjust this or grab your regulator and move your filling more in or more out. Right, but by this stage, this should be pretty full and consistent if you've done all your jobs right. And this should just come out perfect if you've done everything else step by step, as I've said. This should be a walk in the park, and you shouldn't have to be using your regulator at this point if you've done everything correctly. Which is why you spend the time in the earlier step to make sure that this is all feeling smooth, no dips, no bumps. Spend that time preparing this. This step is just easy. I will be the first to admit that I'm not perfect. It happens sometimes where I'll have to regulate this part at this point. It happens. It's happened before. I'm not going to say it hasn't. But you'll also notice that as well, it might not be the filling. It might just be maybe your angle with your needle went the wrong, like maybe your needle might have came out in the right spot, but maybe you put it in too deep and then brought it out in the same area. Like this motion wasn't consistent, and you've pulled more or you've pulled less into that area when you've done this stitch up. So it could be that reason as well. That could also be the reason. I think after this I'm going to end the stream because we have got to our point where we've done our stitched edge, which is what this video is supposed to be about. There may be another video soon. I might stream again. We will see how we go. See where I get to today and where I get to where I'm at tomorrow morning when I start working again. We'll see where I'm at. If I think they will make an interesting, informative video, because you don't want to watch me. I mean, I spent the first hour of the last video because I stopped it after and restarted. Which I will change the title of that one because I didn't even get to the stitching part. So this part here has been doing the hessian, doing the stitching, which is good, which is what the video is supposed to be about. The first part of the video was me just doing the stuffing. Alright, that's boring. You don't want to see that. That bit is, you only need to see 10 seconds of that and then you know how to do it. So, depends where I'm at tomorrow. Obviously, after I've done this, the next stage is flocking. So I'm just going to be here just grabbing flock, using my fingers and putting it in. You don't need to see that. That's just how that's done. Not much else to see there. I've literally only got 3 stitches left. We're at the end of this video. If you found this video helpful in any way with the way, or you got questions about the way I do it, because I know the Europeans do this a lot differently to how I've been taught. I know in Europe they do the stitch edges a lot different. They don't do edge rolls like this. They're different. But I haven't been taught that way, so I don't know it. It's not saying that it's wrong, like this is not wrong or they're not wrong. I don't know, I've never actually physically even had like seen the way they do it. They do it so different. This part here is basically the same, but then after that they stitch it every inch or so with a stitch on top, and they create it so well. It becomes like a perfect straight corner, like a pointed corner. They do it so well, and I so badly want to learn how to do that, but they don't do it here. Nobody does it here. I've never seen it done, and I've never met anyone who can do it. So I would be very interested to see how that is done and how they do it, because that I see pictures of it everywhere on Instagram and stuff. I do follow a lot of Europeans on my Instagram page, so I see it all the time, and I wish I could do it. I'd love to learn how to do it, and I don't even understand how they do it, to be honest. I don't understand how it's done, because it looks like they do it and there's no like lock stitches or anything. So I don't understand how it's done, and I'd really love to see and learn how it is done, because it looks fantastic. It absolutely looks fantastic. And I see it and I say, how much work went into that? Because I know how much work goes into this. I mean, so at the start of this video and the last video, I was at this hessian stage, and I had done basically maybe a third of the seat stuffing. So, how long have I been right now? This is nearly 2 hours. So 2 hours here has been stitching all this. Is 2 hours, and I've probably gone a little bit slow in that 2 hours because I've been talking and stuff, but that's basically, this stage here is been 3 hours today. So I spent an hour just doing the filling, and now I've spent 2 hours doing the hessian and the stitching and the hand stitching, so that's a fair chunk of time just doing that. And that's it. That's a straight edge. It looks pretty straight on the stream there. But that's an edge roll there now. So that's an edge roll. All right. That's an edge roll. It's a hard edge. Well, I'm hitting that pretty hard. This is a sprung edge. Alright? It is a sprung edge. Alright? There's no springs across there, so it's very, very strong. But that is our sprung edge from start to finish. We've done it. Alright, done it. It's on camera, it's on stream. That's it. If you have any questions, please hit the comment section and just comment if you want to see more of this. As I said, I might stream tomorrow. It depends how I feel, but basically now, once the stream ends, it's going to be me just flocking this, and then I'm going to be foaming it, and then it's going to be the cover time. So by tomorrow, possibly after I put the cover on, it's likely I might stream, because once I put the cover on, it's got to be hand stitched under here. That will probably be interesting. People might want to see that, how that's done. So we'll skip the whole flocking and building the seat up and putting the foam on, because that's boring. That's other stuff, right? this intricate detail of hand stitching this on, and then the border that goes on after, that sits under here. So we create this roll because this fabric's going to come over under here. It's going to stitch under here. And then we got a border that goes from here to there. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do a double border on this. I don't reckon the other one has double border. Oh, I did have a double border. Okay. So the other chair does have a double border. So it's going to have a border from here to this wood here, and then from that wood to that wood. So we're going to create a border here, and then another border here. And I reckon that would be all of, a couple of hour video tomorrow. Be stitching that, cutting and sewing that, cutting and sewing that, and stitching, because that's got to be hand stitched on. All of this is hand stitched, which is why it takes so long, and why sprung edge chairs are so expensive. So if you've got one and you've ever had a quote before and you thought, this is way expensive, why is it so expensive? All of this has to be hand stitched. It has to be, it can't be done any other way. It has to be hand stitched. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. And as I said, this video has gone for 2 hours and I've done these 2 stitches. Normally I'd probably do that in maybe an hour or an hour and a half, I reckon. If I just put my head down and did it without talking on the camera, this is basically hour and a half, right? It still takes time. It still takes time. And as I said, as I've been saying, this is quality, like high quality, right? This seat is going to last so long, right? That isn't going anywhere. It's coconut fiber. It's just compressed. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to sag. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to be there all the time. Right? I would say that it's going to compress, and it's only going to compress in the seat. Along here, it's not going to compress. This is already compressed. Right? That ain't getting smaller. Right? All of this along here, that's all been stitched. All of that is compressed. That isn't going anywhere. Right? That is going to be hard as a rock in 20 years' time. And it will just be there. Alright, these springs will wear eventually before this will, because the springs do all the work. This thing's just like basically a piece of wood. Alright, this is basically a piece of wood that can move. Alright, so if this was on a hard edge, it would be even stronger. If this was down here on this wood, it's not going to move. That's going to be there for a long time. And that is where the money is, right? The time it spends to do this might seem expensive to begin with. Like, if you got a chair done like this, and just say it's $2 grand, alright? Let's just throw a sum of $2 grand, alright? This chair is going to cost you $2 grand. Wow, that's expensive. I could buy a chair for $600–700, okay? So that chair, that new chair you're buying is a third of the price of this, but I would say this is still going to last more than 3 times longer than that chair. Without a doubt in my mind. Without a doubt. Without a doubt in my mind. Alright? Even if you went dollar for dollar and brought something new that was $2,000. Okay? This will still outperform it. If it's not built like this, that chair that you're buying, it will last. It could last if you look after it. But if it's mainly foam, foam will break down. This coconut fiber will not break down. The flop that goes on top does not break down. Okay, it's solid. It doesn't break down. I am going to put foam on this, but I'm putting like a 1-inch foam on it. right, just to smooth out the seat, all right, and that will wear out. That foam will wear out. But what will happen is, if that ever gets reupholstered, they're going to take the cover off. See, there's foam on there. Take that foam off, and then underneath it's just going to be this and flock, and it's going to be perfectly molded. It's going to be, and then you could just basically just put another foam over it. All right, that base will never get touched. This base will never get touched for 30 years. Out of doubt in my mind. Doubt in my mind, this base here will never get touched for 30 years. Even if in 30 years' time, I'll be retired.